Hey, welcome to the Michelle Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, what's going on? It's Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, by popular demand, and by that I mean Vincent.
Yes.
We are reviewing from 2022. A matter of fact, from September 2022.
Yes.
More to the point, September, 9th? September.
Yeah. Not quite.
No,
the
September
9th.
2nd.
2nd,
2022.
Yeah. Right.
Regina Hall and Sterling K Brown in Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
Yes, and it's not just like there is a faction of Team Michelle that wanted this. Like, it's not just me. But
it was led by you.
You're right. I'm the point of the spear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're the man in the pulpit on this one.
Yeah. Amen. You see who I'm gonna just tell you who I stand with at the beginning.
Oh, okay. All right. We've got a good one ready for you, ladies and gentlemen. you just don't know. But before we start, shout out to each and every one of you out there in the world that are listening to us as we are streaming live via StreamYard to YouTube, as well as onto Twitch, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Shout out to all the missionaries. Hello to each and every one of you.
Good evening.
Oh wow. I was knew where I was going, but then I noticed in the chat that Robert Monroe Jr. had pointed out that Jean-Luc Godard died. Made me think of Gene Seberg from Breathless and how the FBI's counterintelligence professionals led her to commit suicide. I feel like I should know that name.
I was about to say I'm not familiar with any of this, but I do like talking about that damn COINTELPRO, so I'm definitely up for that. That's a shame about Jean-Luc Godard, though. I have to say, I thought maybe he was dead.
I feel like I should know that name.
The director. What, the director?
Okay, he was the director. Oh, did he do oh man. It's probably a movie.
He actually did a lot of stuff. The bad thing is, let me make sure I have it right, because I of course like stuff. Let me see, what was my movie?
Vincent is looking it up as we speak, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, because now you've thrown me completely off.
I threw you off.
You threw me off. No. Alphaville, the neo-noir science fiction film.
I don't know this movie.
It is, oh my goodness. It is 1965. It's basically what I just said. It's like a detective movie. It's a noir detective movie. But
you said it's got a sci-fi.
It's sci-fi. It's almost like, it's not quite post-apocalyptic, but it's like Brave New World or Metropolis, where it's like these really arch sets,
okay.
And it's in an indistinguishable future, very stylized, very cool.
French,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, very French.
Okay, I see the film that he's most noted for is Breathless,
right?
Which I have heard of. I've not seen.
I was about to say, you know me, I go straight to the science fiction or the black stuff.
Right.
I know Alphaville. Something. I thought there was something else he made that I liked, and I knew he was a big deal.
He's done The Joy of Learning, Forever Mozart, number 2, Far from Vietnam, King Lear from 1987. That may be something that you would be familiar with, being a Shakespearean man yourself. I do have to say my French film watching is probably non-existent.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah, like quite honestly, if I didn't watch it in a class,
Okay.
it's not a lot of stuff I followed up on.
He helped create the French New Wave.
I was about to say French New Wave dude. So it's one of those names. But more importantly, though, as Robert Monroe said
about Gene
Seberg, who was a target of FBI's COINTELPRO. She was targeted because she supported the Black Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, she was blacklisted. She was blacklisted. And her body was found with a bottle of barbiturates and a note written in French. It said, forgive me, I can no longer live with my nerves. And it was ruled a probable suicide. Her husband claimed that she became psychotic after the media reported that she had deteriorating mental health. According to him, this was a story that was planted by the FBI.
What year she died?
1979. So, a lot of allegedlys in all of this.
A lot.
But if you know anything about COINTELPRO, and if you don't know anything about COINTELPRO, you should certainly research a little COINTELPRO. This is very much on brand because they did send letters to Martin Luther King Jr. outlining the fact that they knew about his infidelities and that they would expose them. So perhaps it would be better if he committed suicide. Certainly COINTELPRO followed and tracked people all throughout the 70s and perhaps now. So, I don't know what happened with Gene Seberg. I wasn't there, but a lot of this sounds very on brand for COINTELPRO.
All right.
And with that, we're off and running.
Yes.
But you should watch Alphaville. You'd like Alphaville. It's very stylized.
Right.
Very, black and white and cool and, lots of hats and raincoats. Yeah, you'd like Alphaville a lot, actually.
I do like a good film noir.
Yeah, and you like science fiction. You know what? Here you go. Lynn Webb, and I'm saying it live. I want you to watch Alphaville because I suspect you'll say that Alphaville is what Blade Runner should have been.
Oh, okay. Now I've got a reason to watch it.
Right. Like I want you to watch Alphaville, and then we'll, probably not on the show. We'll talk about noir in a science fiction context, and that versus Blade Runner.
We'll talk about it during the part of the pre-show that will now and forevermore be known as the House of Pain.
Dude, come on, do not pull me in.
That is a deep cut, ladies and gentlemen. That is a deep cut that I probably will have to edit.
Right. But yeah,
it will make no sense.
Right. Well, I've already been here talking about COINTELPRO. So
yeah, none of this is going to make the actual podcast.
All right, so go ahead. All right.
Vincent, did you watch the Emmy Awards last night?
I did not watch the Emmy Awards. Of course, speaking of being on brand, of course I didn't watch the Emmy Awards, but I did, of course, watch all the clips, and I'm very, very happy for some individuals who won awards.
Yeah, there's quite a few individuals that we want to make sure that we give them their propers for their success at the Emmy Awards last night, beginning with Quinta Brunson.
Yes, sir.
Who won a writing Emmy for Abbott Elementary, specifically for the pilot episode of Abbott Elementary. You are a huge fan of that show.
I'm a big fan of Abbott Elementary, and I'm very happy for her. Like, very happy for her and all of her success. Probably this is a great opportunity to, I don't know if you looked at the clip.
I did.
With Jimmy Kimmel.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the deal with Jimmy Kimmel?
What?
Is he funny?
He can be. I don't think he's like.
Could you show me something? Like I know, like he did this extended joke, and then he's on stage with her.
To be fair, he did it with. It wasn't just him. He did it with Will Arnett.
Well, he's the only one on the stage that you can see.
Okay.
With Quinta, like I don't know if Will Arnett moved.
Well, Will Arnett did move
because he has class.
When she. Okay. All right. Because I got into this conversation last night with my girlfriend. So so for those who didn't see it, for those who didn't see the clip, Will Arnett and Jimmy Kimmel are to announce the winners for this Emmy Award for writing in a comedy series. And the bit is that Will Arnett drags like a quote unquote unconscious Jimmy Kimmel onto the stage because Jimmy passed out because he lost again in the late night category. Lost again.
And that made him pass out.
And that's the joke because he's never won it, right?
Gee, I wonder why. It's just comedy gold so far.
Anyway, so the bit is that he's going to drag him out, and because Jimmy says I still want to be out there, still want to do my job, so he drags him out there, and Will Arnett basically does the announcing of the whole thing for him by reaching down because Jimmy Kimmel is laid out on the stage, reaches down into his pocket for the nominees or in the envelope with the winner.
This is all hilarious.
Okay. To be fair, the people are laughing. There's mixed laughter in the audience, at least that I could see.
And this is before the winner is announced.
Before the winner is
okay,
announced.
So the winner hasn't been announced.
The winner
yet.
has not been announced.
It's dumbass award show stuff.
Right.
It's
a dumb bit for the award.
Right. This is why I watched 3 episodes of Cobra Kai instead. Go ahead.
Now, so the winner is announced, and it's Quinta Brunson.
Yes. So now we have a winner.
We have a winner, and the camera cuts to Quinta Brunson
with someone who's never won before.
Correct.
For
probably never nominated before.
For the critical time. Darling.
Yes, definitely the critical darling because the audience erupts.
Erupts because this is her year.
Yes.
We're all super happy for her.
Yes.
She comes up on stage.
She comes up on stage. Now, Jimmy Kimmel, while Will Arnett has moved to the back, as most presenters do.
Right. He's
Jimmy Kimmel
not raised in a barn.
Jimmy Kimmel is still laying there. Now, Will Arnett did kind of like move Jimmy out of the way so that she could stand in front of the microphone. But
because he's not actually unconscious.
No, he's not.
He's pretending.
He's pretending
to be unconscious.
And then Quinta Brunson goes and gives her speech.
I mean, what else can she do?
She gives her speech and then she walks off.
It's almost like a metaphor of how black people in general have to navigate mediocre ass white people to live their best lives. You could like take a picture of it. Like you could take a shot of it and put it on a wall. And say, black excellence, and then like an asterisk next to it, and then down small print, in spite of.
Quinta Brunson, and you can say whether or not she's just being a good sport.
Right. Hey, we're friends.
She said she was.
I didn't mind. I mean, what else could she say, Len?
Well, I honestly don't think she had a problem.
But if she did, could she say it?
No, I think she could. I certainly think she could.
She absolutely could not, because now she's a black shrew, a black B word. She's up there. You know how these black women are. Like where's her space if she wanted to say something?
Well, this is where I landed with my girlfriend, was that, I get the idea of doing the bit, and I get the idea of maybe sticking with the bit, right? And to be honest, if you're going to commit to the bit is to be there when the person walks up. That is the bit.
The bit is
not to do it.
To do the bit all the way up until someone actually comes up and accepts their award. And now that's the end of the bit.
Well, okay, I disagree. I think that the end of that bit is when the person is there. But with that in mind, is that once the person is there, you can't move because you don't want to pull focus.
Which is why you don't do it.
And well, yes, that's why you don't do it in the first.
Which
place.
now I go
it
back.
Was a dumb. It was a dumb.
I go back to my original because I realized, like, why is like what is Jimmy Kimmel? Like, where did he come from? Like Jimmy Fallon, you know, he come, he's kind of charming and goofy and he's enthusiastic. And James Borden is, you know, he's like a theater kid, and okay, you kind of get that. And then like the British dude on the other station, like the British dude it was like a British dude who had a late night
before James Corden.
Right. Like, all right, he's British, you know, and you know, Seth Meyers is a writer and he's kind of clever. I've never understood. It's like they just told me Jimmy Kimmel was a thing.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel, he was a stand-up, and
was he funny?
I didn't see a lot of his stand-up. And then
has anyone seen his stand-up?
he maybe didn't do a whole lot of stand-up. And then he hosted a show on Comedy Central for a long time called The Man Show. He was the co-host with Adam Carolla.
Is that where he comes from?
Pretty much.
Is that where he comes from?
Pretty much his claim to fame. And then he won an audition.
So it really is just sort of white mediocrity kind of stumbling up the ladder.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with him. I like him. I'm not saying like I love him, but you know.
I never thought about him, frankly, until he was on stage.
No,
with his sister.
Do I wish that he hadn't done it? Yes, I do. And do I wish that once it's announced that he just gets up?
It's
and
ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
But it didn't take away from my joy of seeing her. You don't see like if you see the clips. At least I don't know what clips you saw. If you see the clips, you can quickly forget that he's there because it's really a tight focus on her.
Once they tighten the focus, but when they pull back, it's like what is going on the stage? Which then made me have to spend 30 seconds of my life reading about this bit.
Sharon Eldridge in the chat says, I'm realizing that the only parts of Jimmy Kimmel's show that are funny to me are done by other people. That's interesting. Aaron Fry remembers the Man Show fondly, says the Man Show was my jam. I remember catching a Man Show once or twice. It didn't really do anything for me.
I went to high school with them dudes.
Yeah.
By the time I was in the 12th grade, I'd had my fill of that.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a lot of people grabbing
to
people
be fair,
and farting on their heads.
He's not that guy.
In boobs.
That was a different show.
I'm going to fart on your head in boobs.
That was a different show. It's a different time. And he's not that guy.
Yeah, well, apparently he's still a little bit of that guy.
He's a little goofy, but I mean, he's not that guy.
He's a little bit of that guy because that very much tracks.
I can see.
Like it's a straight line from fart on your head in boobs to this.
To be totally honest, if it was reversed and it was Jimmy Kimmel pulling Will Arnett, I could see Will Arnett still doing that.
Will Arnett would never have done that in 2022. Post Ted Lasso, Will Arnett is never doing that. So, you know. Anyway,
I don't know.
Quinta won. My girl won.
Shirley Ralph.
Miss Shirley Ralph.
Shirley Ralph.
Yes, she did.
Won for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
In a comedy series.
Yeah.
For Abbott Elementary. And gave maybe the best acceptance speech ever.
Wasn't that fantastic?
It was absolutely fantastic. She breaks into song singing Diane Reeves and is it Endangered Species? Is that the name of the song?
I'm not sure if that's the name of the song. I know it was a Diane Reeves song.
Yeah. And then gives an exuberant and powerful speech, thanking everyone, thanking her family, thanking her husband, thanking her children, thanking Quinta Brunson. And she, first of all, she looks absolutely phenomenal.
Come on. You know what I love about Shirley Ralph since Abbott Elementary? Like, I don't really follow people like that, but I follow Shirley Ralph. Shirley Ralph lets you know she not that school marm. Every time. I like that Shirley Ralph.
Oh, I believe it.
Yes, sir.
I absolutely believe it. And actually, as much as I remember the speech, how I remember her singing, there's a moment at the end where she is holding her Emmy up above her head,
Mm-hmm.
and she's she's almost like in the superhero pose.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's holding it's like Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
And her fist are clenched, and she's all cut. She's diesel.
Look.
I'm like, that just keeps replaying in my head. It's absolutely a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely a beautiful moment. Very happy for her. Zendaya
won. Absolutely.
For Euphoria. This is the second time in a row.
Second in a row.
I was not aware of that. So that is cool. Jared Carmichael won for his comedy special
for Rothaniel.
Yeah, which is pretty good, and I actually did enjoy.
I enjoyed it great, and you know, it's not the same knife that I'm using with Jimmy Kimmel. I actually don't think Jared Carmichael is that funny
as far as stand-up.
His stand-up, like I've never enjoyed his stand-up, but Rothaniel is I think, speaking of Team Michelle, like I feel like Toya texted us and told us about watching it, and I kind of turned it on and said, let me watch the first 10 minutes of it, and then it was off.
Rothaniel is very good. I too am kind of like run hot and cold with him as a stand-up, but while that ostensibly is a stand-up,
right?
If you don't know what Rothaniel is about, well, you should by now.
Yeah,
most everybody should, but even if you don't, it's still worth viewing. It's not a stand-up in the traditional sense.
It's ain't nobody smiling.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And it's very good. And I'm very happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him. I like him. I don't think he's that funny, but I like him.
No, I mean, I champion his success.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely champion his success. So God bless him. Also, did I see that Lizzo won as well?
Yeah, Lizzo won.
I am a fan of Lizzo.
You know I love Lizzo.
I'm a fan of Lizzo.
I love Lizzo.
Because
I don't like her second album as much as I did the first one.
Well, I don't know about her albums.
But I like Lizzo.
But I like her because I guess as much as anybody in that business and in that world can be, she seems as genuine as you can be.
Look,
in that.
Lizzo don't bother nobody.
Mm-hmm.
She brings positivity.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a nice voice in the chorus. Yeah. I'm very much Team Lizzo, and I'm very happy for her.
Very happy for her as well. So
those were the black folks.
That's Emmys as far as we are concerned. I mean, you know.
Keenan hosted.
And we talked.
I was about to say, and apparently
into existence.
Kel Mitchell showed up, and they had a good burger moment.
So that was kind of cool.
So you're welcome, world.
There you go. There's your sequel. Right. And to be honest, that's as much sequel as you need.
I was like, why are people talking about Good Burger and Keenan? I said, do we have that many listeners? Have we exploded since last week?
Oh, if only. I wish.
So
I wish. Deborah Battle pointed out that Zendaya is the youngest woman to win lead actress in a drama twice.
That's fair. Well, here's an interesting little factoid. So Shirley Ralph is the first black woman to win the supporting actress Emmy that she won since Jackie.
And for 22
won for 227.
Yeah.
Jackie, of course, tweeted and congratulated. But then Jackie dropped this little nugget. She said this is actually full circle because initially the creators of 227 wanted Shirley Ralph to play that role.
Get out of here.
So there you go. How do you like that?
That's cool.
Isn't that really cool?
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty dope. Oh, wow. Oh, what a sliding doors that would have been.
I know.
That was interesting. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, because Shirley Ralph, who definitely, made her bones in movies and television, but most people know her from the stage,
I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean,
depending on how old you are.
That's true. But really, what TV did she do? Because
she was Moesha's stepmom for however many years.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because wasn't she in Robert Townsend's show too?
No, that's our other girl.
Oh,
that's our girl from Tap.
Yes.
That I forgot her name.
Not Phyllis Stickney.
No, not Phyllis. Who's the fine, deep brown sister Vince like? Phyllis Stickney. No, not Phyllis Stickney. You trying to call me out?
No. Hold on. I will tell you who it is. I see her.
Oh yeah, I see her.
Suzanne Douglas.
Suzanne Douglas.
That's right.
Suzanne Douglas.
That's Suzanne.
Yeah.
And Farrell Blackwell is indeed pointing out that he only knows Cheryl Lee Ralph from TV and movies.
Yeah. The funny thing, I saw a couple of people tweet and say apparently singing does pay the bills, referencing her character from Sister Act 2, where strangely she didn't want Lauryn Hill's character to sing in the choir. Like apparently she came from that little town in Footloose. Like we don't like no singing. We don't like. I can't even sing for Jesus. No, you can't sing for Jesus. You can't sing for nobody.
No,
because I'm doing hair in the apartment.
That's right.
And I'm probably not licensed. So we real hand to mouth right now. So you can't be singing with Whoopi Goldberg about Jesus.
We've got listener mail, Vincent.
Okay, so I won't talk about Tyler Perry's character who didn't want his child to sing either because his wife was on the crack.
No, we're not.
And he thought that she got on the crack because of singing. And Why Did I Get Married? Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Remember that plot point? And she was on the crack. And then she kicked the crack and came into church at the end and started singing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. I watched a lot of that out of my head. We got an email from Sean Simmons.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hello, Len and Vincent. I hope all is well. I have a couple of comments relating to Len's top 5 black comedy duos.
Okay.
Sorry, Vincent.
Oh,
I like the way this one's going. I like how this is shaping up already. Matter of fact, let me repeat that. Sorry, Vincent.
But
I have to agree with Len on this one.
Okay, which one is that?
Shawn Wayans is terrible. I've tried to stomach him throughout my childhood up until now, but no matter what it is, I wonder how much better something would be if someone else was in his place. I've always said that his work as SW1 on In Living Color was his best work because he was silent. All he had to do was stand there and do his little jig when the music started playing. Hopefully everyone out there knows he really wasn't spinning those records. I did. However, I contend that 2 Wayans brothers had great comedic chemistry with someone outside of the family. Unfortunately, they didn't do a lot of work with this person, Kadeem Hardison.
Yep.
I would have loved to see more of Kadeem with Damon. They are always a moment for me when I put on I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I can definitely see why Damon wanted to work with Kadeem on Mo Money before Mama Wayans put an end to that and shoehorned Marlon. I also would have loved to see more of Kadeem paired with Marlon. They starred in a film called The Sixth Man. I can't wait for you all to review it.
He sure did.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not fighting anyone over The Sixth Man, but to me, their chemistry really shined through and made that movie watchable. I just look forward to that review to see if you agree with me, and Len can burn the rest of it down like a Game of Thrones dragon if he feels compelled to. Lastly, I agree that Chris Tucker and Ice Cube were a great pair. I would have loved to see them do more things together outside of the Friday universe, like Cube has done with Mike Epps or The Rock with Kevin Hart. I love Money Talk. It's a stupid, unlogical movie, but I love it all the same. I often wondered how better it could have been if Cube would have played Charlie Sheen's character. Yeah, that would have been too black for the people in 1997. I still would love for them to reconnect on screen, but not in another Friday movie. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. It might be like Sunday morning. People have to let that go. We've lost some folks in recent years that make it not worth it. But really, who wants to see Craig and Smokey hijinks at 50 years old?
Right.
Hard pass. Appreciate you all as always, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's review. Sean Simmons.
Oh, thank you, Sean. Speaking of Sean's, I'm never gonna fight nobody over Sean Wayans. I maintain I enjoy his performance in Don't Be a Menace to South Central. Like, that's really my only Sean Wayans I can even, like, I never really watched the Wayans brothers.
Okay. And you wouldn't have seen them in the Scary Movie.
I have not seen. It's so funny because October's coming up and that's shortlisted for my October movie. But
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
you can argue about it.
I mean, how is Scary Movie not a Halloween movie?
I just don't know if I see it as a black movie.
It's written and directed by the Wayans.
Did they write that?
Yeah. Dude, remember, that was always the secret sauce. At least one, maybe two.
They may have were
secretly Wayans brothers things.
Okay.
And then the studio
kind of like
took it from them.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first two were written and directed. I mean, if only we had some type of miraculous device that connected to all of.
Don't waste your time with that. I'll call Gazoo.
Yep.
Gazoo. Yo, Gazoo.
Why are we talking about Gazoo? Are you about to say are you having a fit?
It worked on the Flintstones.
Oh,
this is not gonna work.
God damn it. See, you put in Scary Movie. Oh yeah, there it is. So Scary Movie, yeah, directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans and written by Marlon and Sean.
Okay.
At least the first one.
Okay.
And then Scary Movie
definitely puts it in a running.
Scary Movie 2, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. Like, that's I think quietly that's how Sean and Marlon made their money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then I think 3 is when the studio basically took it from them.
Okay.
But I haven't seen Scary Movie probably since it came out.
No, me neither. I'm pretty sure I did see it.
Yeah. I know I saw the first one.
Okay.
And I probably saw the second one.
All right.
But yeah, I'm not fighting nobody over Sean.
Good.
All right.
All right, so that's our listener mail.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sean Wayans Palooza.
Your cousin.
Oh, hey, Rolanda. Yeah.
Your cousin Rolanda.
Yeah.
Hi, Rolanda. How are you doing? All right. Okay.
All right.
Now let's get it. Now we're not going to do the top 5. We're going to do the top 5 at the end of the show.
It's
and you'll understand why when we get there.
Top 5 at the end.
But that means that we're
breaking protocol and going right in.
We're going right in.
I didn't put my cape on there.
Well, you've got a couple of seconds. Put on your cape because it's time.
Do I have 6 seconds?
You got 6 seconds.
6 seconds. Get ready.
Because it's time for 6 degrees of dirt.
All right.
6 degrees of Dervell Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will attempt to get to an actor of my choice from 70s superstar Dervell Martin.
All right.
6 movies or less.
6 movies or less.
Vincent, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Would you like Hall or Brown?
Hall or Brown?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what. Well, I'm gonna start with Brown.
Start with Brown.
I like stuff.
In 6 movies or less, Vincent, get from Dervell Martin.
Dervell Martin
to
2.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. Interesting. Because the only thing that I remember her in is Godzilla. Certainly she's been in another movie besides Godzilla.
She has.
But I'm going to use Godzilla.
Very well.
Okay. Feels a little bit like a cheat because I'm actually using someone that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not you remember that.
And I'm going to go right to, was anybody in it? Who else? Who was in it besides?
You take me out. Who was in it?
Besides Brian Tyree Henry that I could use. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna take 30 seconds.
You're barking up the right tree, but you're picking the wrong film.
What, that Brian Tyree Henry would have been in with Millie Bobby Brown?
I'm not trying to, I'm just being real with you. From what you're saying.
I mean, I know they were in Godzilla, and I'm gonna get to Brian Tyree Henry pretty fast. What else? What else is she in besides Godzilla?
She was in. She was in Enola Holmes.
Oh, but that was a Netflix thing. Okay. That counts.
She's in another movie, but I don't want to give. You keep saying Godzilla.
Oh, is it Godzilla King of the Monsters?
She was in that.
Well, that's the one with Brian Tyree Henry. I was just using shorthand.
Brian Tyree Henry's not in that movie.
Okay. So he's in it with Oh, all right. All right, here you go. Here you go. Derville Martin is, of course, in 5 on the Black Hand side with Dick Anthony Williams, who was in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington, who is in The Tragedy of Macbeth with Corey Henry, who is in Straight Outta Compton with Osai Jackson Jr., who is in Godzilla King of the Monsters with Millie Bobby Brown.
Wait a minute. What was that last one? How'd you get to Godzilla?
Osai Jackson Jr., Lil Ice Cube.
And he's in
Godzilla King of the Monsters with Millie Bobby Brown.
He is? Hold on. Let me just double check.
No, please do.
Okay, you're right.
Oh, well, I know this because I said it.
And isn't it O'Shea?
Whatever the
Oh my God!
Almost dropped the F-bomb. Almost dropped an F-bomb. Whatever the blank his name is, he Lil Ice Cube. You know who I'm talking about. You almost got me.
Oh, it just got real for a second. It just got real. Now you know how he treats me. Now you know how he treats me for real. All this Papa Vincent. Now you know how he treats me for real. Oh, that won't get cut.
So yes, there you go. What movie was she in that you didn't want to tell me?
Well, you were getting the name wrong.
Oh, it was what, Godzilla King of the Monsters?
She wasn't Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Right, okay.
She was with Brian Tyree Henry in Godzilla versus King Kong.
All right. Well, I ain't need it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, but yeah, got you.
And I didn't want to give it to you.
Yeah.
Admittedly, her filmography is small.
I mean, she's like 12.
You know who else is in Godzilla versus King Kong? And I don't remember him, even though I've seen that movie 3 times. But I'm sure he's there. Lance Reddick.
Does Lance Reddick play Corey? I think he might play Corey Henry's character grown up.
Maybe. Yeah.
Which I went to Corey Henry and jumped to Lil Ice Cube, but I could have stuck with Corey Henry because he's in King Kong.
Right.
Corey Henry is in King Kong.
Right.
Yeah, that's the Vietnam one. Because remember, Corey Henry was in Monarch. His character was in Monarch during the late 60s, early 70s.
Yes. Wait a minute. So does this mean that the connection is wrong?
No. Right, because I did Corey Henry and Lil Ice Cube and Straight Outta Compton.
Right. Okay.
But it's funny that both of them have been in the MonsterVerse movies.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So you did good. You got to the Brown.
All right. Got to the Brown.
Now let's do the Hall.
All right.
So in 6 movies or less, get from D'Urville Martin
to
Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, Anthony Michael Hall. Now that's an interesting one.
How
do I want to get to Anthony Michael Hall? You know what? I'll get to Anthony Michael Hall a little interesting.
Okay.
D'Urville Martin is in. How do I want to do this? D'Urville Martin. Okay. I'll take an interesting route, an interesting route down a familiar path. D'Urville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Leonard Jackson. Leonard Jackson is in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy is in Coming to America with Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is in, I believe he's in Iron Man. Samuel Jackson in Iron Man.
He shows up at the end of
the end with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is in Weird Science with Anthony Michael Hall.
And there you go. Very good. Very good, Vincent. Well done.
There you go. I knew I wanted to use Weird Science and pull out Robert Downey Jr., but I didn't want to just say, Marvel, blah.
Were you a Weird Science guy? Did you like that movie?
I did like Weird Science.
I feel like I tried to rewatch it.
It's one of the, I mean, none of,
don't say none of them.
16 Candles. No, 16 Candles doesn't age well.
Well, it doesn't age well for multiple reasons.
Breakfast Club is golden.
That's good. Yeah, I like.
Am I done?
You might be.
Are we going to throw Ferris Bueller in there, like in that cohort?
I think you can.
Okay, Ferris Bueller. I think Ferris Bueller ages really well. I might be done.
That might be
with I don't know if they're all Chris Carter films, but those kind of Chris Carter 80s.
Well, kind of ish, because I don't think
kind of Chicago suburbs movies.
Yeah, that might be it. That might be it. Yeah.
True Genius is kind of a the high concept, but I like True Genius. I still like True Genius.
I don't remember that one.
Remember all the smart people in Val Kilmer plays a radical dude.
No.
Smart guy, and then they figure.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, I like True Genius. I'm just trying to think of the ones that age okay. I never liked St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh no.
Never liked St. Elmo's Fire.
It was stupid.
Pretty in Pink isn't bad. Yeah, Pretty in Pink isn't bad.
I don't really remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 80s, so we're talking a long time.
I thought Molly Ringwald was a really nice little actress.
No, I agree with that.
And I think Pretty in Pink, she does more than in any of them. Like, I think
even as good as she is in Breakfast Club.
Oh, I think she's better than she was in Breakfast Club. I think 16 Candles, she's very good, but between the racism and the rape and just the general ickiness of 16 Candles, it's hard to watch 16 Candles.
Yeah, very true.
But I like her in 16 Candles.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
So do I. All right.
So we've got COINTELPRO. We got the Wayans brothers.
Could you not bring up COINTELPRO, because that's not going.
That's not going to. All right. So even that, this will be like a secret reference when people listen to this.
Yeah, but now I got to look for it later in the show because
I'm
you
sorry.
mentioned it.
I won't. Third Q way. I didn't say anything about Ellen Payne. All right. I'm good.
I believe the name of the movie was Real Genius.
Real Genius.
Arson, the voice of reason.
Yeah. All right, Real Genius. What did I say?
You said True Genius.
True Genius. All right, yeah, Real Genius.
The movie was not True Genius.
I liked Real Genius. Yeah. Okay. Does War Games count?
War Games was not good.
I liked War Games.
War Games was not good.
I liked
Short Circuit too.
I didn't really like Short Circuit. Yeah, I didn't like Short Circuit.
Stupid thing.
I didn't really like Short Circuit.
I didn't like Short Circuit. We are going down.
I mean, like them 80s, like that little cohort that kind of made all them, like they were all making movies for like 10 years. And like some of them were just kind of teen comedy things. And then they were high concept. And then there's when we're like Russia invades the United States. And, because I am a Red Dawn dude.
Yeah, Red Dawn was good.
Yeah, Red Dawn is all. That's that work right there, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn's
Wolverines.
I remember being on vacation with my parents in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like sitting around in the hotel or whatever, and there was a commercial came on for a Scott Baio movie.
Okay.
I think it was called Snapped or something. I don't remember. Something stupid.
Okay.
Right. But the commercial led you to believe that it's going to be Scott Baio, unfiltered from Happy Days.
Okay.
And it's going to be like this teen movie, and it's going to be like, a whole bunch of girls running around without their tops on.
Okay.
And I remember seeing this commercial, and the only thing I could think about was, oh my God, we need to go home now so that I can go by myself.
Go see Scott Baio's big movie. Big film debut. Did you see it?
I did see it.
And
it's dumb. It's totally dumb. And if there were women without their tops, I don't remember them. So they weren't memorable.
You are, of course, speaking of Zapped.
That was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Zapped. It was Zapped. Yeah. It was Zapped.
Because I think I always got mixed up because Willie Ames is in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Was he in Charles in Charge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was it.
I wonder if that's
where it started.
That's how they bounced to Charles in Charge.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
Arson says, I see your stupid Scott Baio movie and I raise you never too young to die. Starring John Stamos. I've never even heard
I don't even know what he's talking. See, we were the wrong group of people for this kind of thing. Because they about to go in.
I know.
Right.
I know. They're about to go in. We're going to get into our movie review. The top 5 is going to come after the movie review. But first, 2 things I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you're enjoying our show and you want to help the show, I encourage you that wherever you find our show, especially the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and a review, especially if it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show. And if you have not yet, please subscribe to the Michaud Mission on YouTube at youtube.com/Michaud Mission. And if you have already subscribed, feel free to tell a friend. Bring them along. Join the other missionaries and checking out our little show that we enjoy putting on for free every week for you. All right.
All right.
Now, Vincent, we have a voicemail.
Okay. I tell you, this is a show is chock full of.
It is. And this voicemail is actually has a little bit something with our review.
Okay.
So without further ado, let us hear this voicemail.
Hi, this is Aaron Fry. I have a question before you do your podcast tonight or streaming platform tonight for Honk for Jesus. How did you, both of you, how did you see it? Did you see it via Peacock for streaming, or did you see it in the movie theater with an audience? I saw mine in a movie theater with an audience with, I'm going to say 25% of the people in that movie theater were churchgoers. It was very interesting. Very interesting. If you saw it in a movie theater with some church-going people of a certain age, it was interesting. I just want to know, how did you see it? At home streaming or in a theater? It was wow. Just let me know or let the missionaries know. Thank you very much.
All right. So, Vincent,
Yes.
first of all, shout out.
Yeah. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, Aaron? Who I have to say, I think because of, like, a little bit of the snarkiness of his comments when I read them in the chats and everything, like I always envisioned him sounding like Ed Lover.
That is very specific.
I know. Well, I always envisioned him sounding like Ed Lover. So, like, to hear, like, this lawyer.
Yeah.
Good evening. It really took me out. So how did you take in Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul?
I saw it on Peacock, but I wished I would have seen it like Aaron saw it
In a movie theater.
in the movie theater.
Yeah, I actually started to see it in the movie theater, but then we ultimately decided just to stay in the house and enjoy good food.
Yeah.
And watch it on Peacock.
Yeah. Because, we'll talk about this during the review. I do think it is absolutely fascinating how different audiences have responded to this film.
Mm-hmm.
And how some audiences went in thinking it was going to be one thing.
Yeah.
And then realized it was not that thing at all. You know what I always talk about? The ads for arachnophobia.
Yeah.
And they were kind of wild and madcappy. And remember it was John Goodman. And then when you went in it, that joint was basically a horror movie.
Well, okay, I don't know. Horror
I mean,
but it was certainly a different tone.
It was a different tone. I feel like people may have took their kids.
It was a bait and switch
to see arachnophobia. And remember, like the first 10 minutes, the spider comes to America because it has liquefied a corpse on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember the plot detail from Arachnophobia, which came out in 1989 and wasn't that good, but I remember it. Do you remember that plot point from Arachnophobia?
Nah,
a film that came out in 1989. It wasn't really that good.
Not really. Not really. I don't. I remember being disappointed by Arachnophobia.
I remember when the spider came out and they showed the desiccated body. I said, wow, this is pretty metal right here. This is like something out of a Black Sabbath song. And the spider rides to America as it goes inside your body. All right.
Well, that was worth the price of admission. Right there.
I could break out the Black Sabbath.
This is the entertainment that we are bringing to you, ladies and gentlemen, every week for free here on the Me Show Mission. Shout out to Raleigh Polly, who just signed up and subscribed on YouTube.
Hey, thank you, Raleigh Polly.
All right. Okay.
And it finds an indigenous spider, and it has spider babies. Sorry.
May I continue?
You may continue.
All right. Let us get into our review of Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
All right.
But first, it's time for trailer talk.
All
where we talk
right.
about things that are going to be cut from the show.
Should we talk about it now?
Why not? So Vincent,
And I hope my wife is listening because I told on you. Go ahead.
Vincent, ladies and gentlemen, along with changing up our schedule so that we're reviewing this 2-week-old movie this week, came in demanding that Len, if there's any way you can do it, he needs free tickets.
Yes, because my wife said we can't spend any of the house money on it.
Because no house Williams money can be spent. He needs free tickets to
Jacarius Johnson's
New Jack City,
the stage play.
stage play coming to Philadelphia in November.
Yes.
Starring oh god, Tretch of Naughty by Nature, who will be playing Nino Brown.
Nino Brown, immortalized by Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
So Tretch will play Wesley Snipes' role.
Yes.
Okay.
In the role immortalized by the great Ice-T.
Ice-T. No, I think he's playing.
Oh, no, Mario Van Peebles.
Mario Van Peebles, because remember, he's a lieutenant.
He's a lieutenant.
We need some New Jack cops.
We need
for
some
some New Jack criminals.
The lieutenant demanding for New Jack cops in New Jack City, the stage play, will be none other than the smooth operator himself, Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. Although now that you've said it, maybe he's playing Ice-T's role. I'm not sure. I'm unsure. But he's either playing Ice-T's role or he's playing Mario Van Peebles' role.
Right. But what we're not unsure of.
Come on. How you going to leave Flex out?
Okay. Yes. Flex
is playing Pookie.
He's playing Pookie.
Immortalized, of course.
By Chris Rock.
Okay. All of this is enough that I'd want to go see this.
Yes. But we are burying the lead.
Oh, are we?
Because in the role
immortalized
by Alan Payne,
G Money
of G Money,
the lieutenant.
Yes. The brother in Am I My Brother's Keeper.
Yes. We all we got.
That role in Jacarius
Johnson's
New Jack City, the stage play.
Yes.
Will be performed by Alan Payne.
Reprising his role as G Money on stage.
Yes.
In Jacarius Johnson's New Jack City, the stage play.
Yes. 54-year-old Alan Payne will be playing Nino Brown. Now, to be fair,
I can't wait to hear what comes after To Be Fair.
Well, no, because we definitely went in because your joke was
easy. We actually said a lot of jokes.
We did say
so
a lot of jokes.
Easy.
Why is Alan Payne doing this? That's basically it.
I had questions.
You had questions.
I had questions
as to the financial security of
easy.
Alan.
See, I know it's trailer talk, but easy.
These clips might find a way.
Right. I wondered what was happening that he reprises his role as G Money in Jacarius Johnson's New Jack City, the stage play.
See, my question is Jacarius Johnson's New Jack City, the stage play, a musical?
Right.
Because something tells me it's a musical.
If I sit in that theater and Christopher Williams pops out,
don't wake me, I'm dreaming.
It will be the greatest moment
he comes descending
in black
down.
art. The greatest moment in black art.
Christopher Williams comes descending from the rafters And you know what he is adorning the audience with? Change.
Robert Johnson sells his soul at the crossroads to become the king of the blues. Somebody hands a trumpet to Louis Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Kool Herc begins to talk over the records in the rec center in the Bronx, imitating the toasting that he heard because of his Jamaican background. Christopher Williams coming out of the sky singing Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming. Those would be the 4 greatest moments in black music since black music, right there.
Oh my God.
Robert Johnson, Louis Armstrong, Kool Herc, Christopher Williams.
Well, Aaron Fry is saying that this needs to be done in New York City at the James Earl Jones Theater, which I think was just recently named.
Yes.
It is actually playing currently. We're in Baltimore?
I know. I think it's going to Baltimore.
Oh, it's going to Baltimore.
Going to Baltimore because it's on tour.
Farrell Blackwell says the remaining members of Levert will make a surprise.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Farrah. Don't do that. That is terrible. That is horrible.
Wait a minute.
Don't. Yes,
No,
I thought of it too. Yes, keep it. Yes. There's only one remaining.
Only one.
Yes. See, keep going. See, don't do that. That's terrible. I'm not participating in this.
Oh God. There's only one.
Yes. Can you give me tickets? I'll report back to the group. It's kind of like when you take your kid out of school. I know this happened once or twice with Camille. Like we had to take her out of school and we went somewhere and the teacher said, okay, we have to write a report of where you went when you come back.
Mm.
Like I'll report back to the group.
Wait a minute. What is Wendy's? Why does she?
Really? You want to know? You don't understand why my wife doesn't want to sign up for Jacarius Johnson's New Jack City, the stage play.
See, that's the difference in our women. Because my lady is rifling through the couch seats right now for change
to go see Jacarius Johnson's New Jack City, the stage play.
She wants front row seats.
Oh my goodness. Find us some tickets.
I will see what I can do.
All right.
Oh God. Oh God.
All right. You ready?
No. That was magical. Yeah, that was magical. Okay. All right. What are we doing? Oh, we're reviewing the movie.
Okay. Yes, we are.
Honk for Jesus. Save your soul. 2022 American dark comedy drama. Written, directed, and produced by Adama Ebo, starring Regina Hall and Sterling K Brown. The synopsis: in the aftermath of a huge scandal, Trinity Childs, the first lady of a prominent Southern Baptist megachurch, attempts to help her pastor husband Lee Curtis Child rebuild their congregation. This film, which premiered on Peacock just 2 weeks ago, but did have a short festival debut, thus making it, apt for review here on the Michaud Mission, is a film that has sparked quite a bit of conversation on the internet since its release, and certainly in conversation within the chats of the hallowed halls of the Michaud Mission. All of that conversation led first and foremost by my partner, Vincent Williams, who selected this film. So Vincent, what say you of Honk for Jesus, save your soul.
Well, first and foremost, the aspect of this film experience that I am probably the least vested in is Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul as a critique of the church and specifically the Black church.
Okay.
Whether or not
you're least
that
invested.
I'm least interested in that, there's a lot of conversation about who Lee Curtis Childs is an analog of, who he is referencing, so on and so forth. And while I think that is certainly something that can be a part of the conversation, that is not the part that has drawn me to this film enough that, as you've mentioned, it's been on my mind a lot.
Oh,
I think Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul is quite the film experience when you talk about everything that goes into what you get as a viewer and as a participant in the experience of Honk for Jesus. I think it as you said, leads to conversations. I think it stays with you. I think it is something that people are passionate about, having something that's been out for a couple of weeks and so on and so forth. Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul is not a great or perfect film. As you mentioned, this is Adama Ibu's first film. This is a film that was developed. It's actually she and her sister, the Igbo sisters. It was a short film that was developed into this feature film. And I think there is a lot about this movie that reflects the Igbos being young filmmakers. Dare I say, this is their first feature film. And the first facet of that, of their sort of inexperience, I think is the basic conceit of the film. As you say, the Childs, Lee Curtis Childs and his first lady, Trinity Childs, were the pastor and first lady of a mega church in Atlanta. There was a scandal, which we will be talking about freely. It's not really a spoiler. No. I think by my count, about 20, 30 minutes into it, you figure out the extent of what the scandal is. If you don't know if you don't want to know, go watch the movie, come back. We'll be here. Yeah. They are rebuilding, and they have hired a crew to film a documentary about their countdown to their reopening, so that on a superficial level, this seems to be a bit like a mockumentary. And mockumentaries are tough. Mockumentaries are tough. I think many of us got tired of mockumentaries after The Office, and frankly, appropriately enough, I think Quentin Burnson really has shown with Abbott Elementary that when it's done well, you can still use this format. But it's a difficult format because I think it takes a level of discipline to keep to the mockumentary without breaking out, because there's some information that as the filmmaker you want in the final film. Many mockumentaries are guilty of this. And in fact, The Wire, The Office slipped more than once. So just on that level, as a mockumentary, it doesn't work. Now, you can argue that the film is about the mockumentary, but then there's also a film that is going along with the mockumentary. And that is true. The problem is, for you to have these dual narratives, we have the mockumentary, we have the film that is taking place outside of the mockumentary.
And by film, you mean like the real
life,
a film,
like the real life film, right? Like we have the mockumentary, and then there are moments in the movie where one of the characters says, cut the cameras, but then the movie is still going on.
Exactly. Right.
The problem is, it is very difficult to see which parts of this film are just the film Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul and the mockumentary. And I think this is a moment where you see the inexperience of the filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I thought of immediately of a film that does it very well is The Five Bloods. Where you remember in The Five Bloods, which had a series of flashbacks.
Yes.
When it flashed back, Spike Lee had this very stark difference in the film stock
Mm-hmm.
and the film ratio.
Mm-hmm.
To let you know that these parts are taking place in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This is current time. And I think something like that would have helped a great deal. Just separating the narrative, just on a basic level of the way the film works, separating the mockumentary and the film itself. So you have that, which depending on how much you're like it can be confusing.
It can be confusing. I think that they try it by changing the aperture.
They absolutely try, but and you're right, they do, but it's so slight.
Yeah.
The difference between and you know, in full disclosure, I've broken my rule of the Michaud Mission review. I've seen this film 3 times now.
No.
So my 3rd time this afternoon, it was still difficult to pin down which moment is which. So you have that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other big wrinkle that keeps this film from achieving the status of a great film is the way the subject matter itself is dealt with. Again, Lee Curtis Childs is a pastor of a megachurch. He's had a sexual scandal. What you come to find out is that he has exhibited this predatory behavior towards young men.
Yes.
And what is, you know, I don't even think you can say it's implied. I think it's in the text. He is a closeted, self-loathing homosexual man.
Yep.
This is really heady stuff. And I think it is a subject matter that could have used a lighter touch with the way it was dealt with. For example, there's a moment when the documentary crew is following Regina Hall's character, Trinity Childs, and they're following her. She's in a mall, she's in a hat shop, and the camera is focused on her. She sees something that upsets her a great deal. In the background, just out of focus, are some young men.
Mm-hmm.
She becomes visibly upset. Obviously, we have to talk about Regina Hall and her performance. Regina Hall tells you everything you need to know. And this is a moment that when the character Trinity says, stop the camera, if they had stopped the camera, I thought it was enough to let you know what was going on. The film instead follows Trinity to the food court where she stares at the boys and really kind of underlines, hey, she's upset about these young men.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite scene in the film with Sterling K Brown. Sterling K Brown has this amazing scene with the sound man.
Yeah.
Who is working for the documentary crew.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound man is his target. And what you realize is that this character, Lee Childs, is a predator. And you see him moving on this young man who's not that young. Come to find out he's 26.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, you know, he's out, which I think is very important because he's not hidden. You know, he's not closeted. So, but it's a wonderful scene. But then you contrast it with a sex scene between Trinity and Lee Curtis in bed, and Trinity initiates sex, and Lee Curtis flips her over, and she says, "I want to do it the regular way." And you know, the implication is he either wants to just have sex from the back, or he wants to have anal sex, and they might as well hold up a clipboard that says, hey, look, Lee Curtis is gay. He doesn't want to have heterosexual sex with his wife. And it's just really broad.
Okay.
And again, I think it's unnecessary because there's enough there to eat as a viewer. Tonally, it's kind of hard to nail down. It's funny that Aaron Fry talked about being in the theater with churchgoers, and I do think there was a bit of miscommunication between the advertising and the film itself, where I think some of the advertising, you thought it was going to be kind of a comedy, and even your description of it, what did you call it? A comedy, satire, drama?
With dark comedy.
With dark comedy, satire. There are moments in this film that are hilarious. There are moments in this film that I don't think are supposed to be hilarious. Maybe they're satire. There are moments in this film that are serious, and you never quite figure out tonally across the board what this film is supposed to be. And while certainly a film can have various tones, and a film can have various, sort of pull from different genres.
Yeah.
I think it takes a surer hand to kind of keep it all straight. So as a film, I think Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Well, it's very much, it seems like if you had shown this to me, I would have said, oh, this seems like this is their first film. Having said that, the performances in this film, like if I take away from them because of the direction, I think the performances are from good to amazing. Confidence plays Keon Sumner, who is the rival preacher. And I like him. Like, I think, I kind of feel sorry for him because in a lot of the scenes that he's in, it's like him, Nicole Bahari, Sterling K Brown, and Regina Hall. And it's like the old Sesame Street. So I was like, one of these things is not like the other. But I think he does okay. Like I liked him. That damn Nicole Bahari.
Yeah, boy.
So is this our second or third film? Because she was in Miss Juneteenth.
I think this may be, if it's not, if she's done more, this is the second most prominent outside of
Miss Juneteenth. This is not a big role.
No,
this is not a big role. She's in maybe 3 scenes. That damn Nicole Bahari,
no joke,
is not here to play with y'all.
Nope.
As co-pastor Shakura Sumner of the up and coming church that is the rival of Lee Curtis and Trinity's church.
Yeah, and their church, I believe, is called Wander to Greater Paths. That's the child's church. Whereas Keon and Shakura's church is Heaven's Home.
And as a young up and coming co-pastor who has been able to navigate the limitations of gender in a way that Trinity has not, Nicole Bahari is the truth.
Yeah,
she is the absolute truth.
Yeah, in that she stands in equal with her
absolute
husband.
Again, with not that much screen time. I have a weird relationship with Sterling K Brown. Like, I love Sterling K Brown, but you realize, or at least I realize, like, I love Sterling K Brown, but I don't engage with him in what he's best known for, which is This Is Us.
Right.
I could never get over the different strokes hump of it. Like, this little indigent black child adopted by these white people. And, I know that's not what happened. Yeah, I know. I've had the This Is Us conversation. The point is, I don't really engage with him like that, but I love him in every single thing that I've seen him in. I think he is a phenomenal actor. But I've also noticed over the years, like when you watch interviews with him, and even on that mediocre episode of Saturday Night Live that he hosted a couple of years ago. I knew Sterling K. Brown was funny. I don't know what they paid Sterling K. Brown, but he needs to pay it back and give them money as well. No one is enjoying themselves in this film as much as Sterling K. Brown, as Lee Curtis Childs, the head pastor, slightly delusional,
a little bit more than slightly,
self-loathing, predatory preacher. He is peacocking. He is joking. As a physical comedian, Sterling K. Brown is fantastic, dancing and moving and doing all his thing. But like I said, this is Sterling K. Brown. So there are moments where the mask slips and you see what's underneath all of this, the preacher in the Prada with the Bugatti, like it slips.
My Bugatti.
And he is amazing. Like I said, the scene where you see him circling the sound man, who's 26 and in a committed relationship with his boyfriend. So again, I'm a grown man, but I'm also a proud gay man. And you see Lee Childs circling him and trying to pull him in. You understand what it must have been like for him to prey on a 18, 19-year-old who's confused and looking for mentorship.
Yeah.
So Sterling K. Brown is amazing. But look, man, everybody know where I'm going with this. Like, everybody know where I'm landing.
We all know where you're going.
Everybody knows. I love Regina Hall so much. I love her so much. I think she is infinitely talented. I think she does everything. And I've not seen everything that she's in, so I can't be super declarative. But if there's a better showcase for her talents than this film, I haven't seen it. Regina Hall, well, we know she's hilarious.
Yeah.
We know she's hilarious. Her physical performance in here, there are moments where she is hilarious. Her face, when Lee Curtis says things and you see the look on her face, she's absolutely hilarious. Everyone talks about the scene, the crime mob scene where the two of them rap "Nuck If You Buck."
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's amazing. And just watching her portray this woman who is shackled in this world, and it's cracking, and she's trying to deal with it. And what does it mean? And culminating in that scene at the end where she has the gospel mime. And it is an extraordinary moment. And again, in full disclosure, if I've seen this film 3 times, I've watched that scene probably 8 times.
Wow.
Because it's hilarious. It's sad. It's absurd. It's infuriating. Seeing Trinity Childs on the side of that road with that mime makeup on to Never Could Have Made It is just everything. And then she gets this wonderful monologue where she talks about being the first lady and what that takes and what that means and what she has sacrificed and what she has done until finally, and we talked about this earlier, but it's like my favorite moment in the scene. Like it lands on, because the documentary maker has asked her, why don't you just leave Lee Curtis? Because we've now watched this whole film of just the humiliation and everything that she's gone through.
Utter dysfunction of that relationship.
And she tells her in the midst of all of this, this is my church and that is my husband, and I kill him before I leave him. And there's 2 seconds after that where it's all in Regina Hall's eyes, where she realizes
what
she said too much. Like she said too much. And it's a beautiful moment, because then she wipes her face because she still has on the mime makeup. And the beautiful thing about it is she wipes off that one mask so that she can put the real mask back on. So that this film has flaws. Like if you thought I was gonna fight you, because I know you about to, like, I see you over there sharpening your butcher knife. This film absolutely has flaws as a film.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the performances transcend any of the shortcomings of this film as a film, so that, again, I think this is an amazing experience.
See, that's interesting, because that runs completely counter to my experience with the film, which I told you after the first time I watched it, and you were incredulous about how I could feel that way, because I said I cannot knock the performances in this movie, yet I'm not sure I enjoyed the film itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, well, if you like the performances, how could you not like the movie? And you hadn't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, watch it, and you'll see, because you're right. The performances in this film are amazing. Yes, we have knelt long and often here on the mission at the altar that is the gift to the world that is Regina Hall. Regina Hall can do everything. Full stop. She just 100% can. And unlike the person who I always also herald here on the mission, Tisha Campbell, Regina Hall is given the opportunity to do everything. She's funny. She's headed the comedies. She's dramatic. She's been in dramatic films. She's actually been in a horror film that she's the best thing in the movie. And here she is able to pull off the tone that this movie wants to set. It does want to be a dark comedy. It does want to be a satire. It does want to look at this world of the mega churches, and specifically, I think, first and foremost, the role of the first lady in these settings, and kind of turn a critical eye to them, because like you said, this story kind of alludes to other scandals that people that are out there. There's no type of text that points one way or another to any of them, so that's why I'm just leery on bringing any of them up.
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is, though, the familiarity of what is happening here, regardless of which scandal you choose, they all got these same kind of like same points,
Mm-hmm.
especially in regards to how the first lady of the church has to reconcile with all of that, reconcile with how she's dealing with it, reconcile in her role, reconcile to a degree her own, in her mind, maybe culpability
Mm-hmm.
in her part in facilitating these scandals, even the scandals that are put on display here. And Regina Hall has it all. She pulls it all off in this film. You were talking about the sex scene, which maybe lands a little hard as far as story wise. Maybe it's kind of like, like really like driving this point home, like, yeah, he's gay. But and I can't knock you on that. But her performance in that scene,
sure,
especially how that scene ends,
mm-hmm.
and the look on her face, like, I can't knock that scene just for that.
Mm.
And also I think that it while I hear what you're saying, I also kind of like the idea of that being a window into the world of these relationships that we're not privy to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with it being there. Sterling K Brown, you know, I enjoy him and everything. I too don't watch This Is Us, but I've heard good things, and I've seen him in other things be great in other things. So I imagine he's great in that. And he is, you're right, he is having a ball in this movie. Now, the reason why he should give back whatever he was paid for this is because while he is having a ball in this movie is also an audition for Sterling K Brown to be the next great black superhero. I was unaware. Look, I ain't gonna even front. I'm a little conflicted. There's a scene where Sterling K Brown, as the Pastor Childs, you know, I guess is filled with the Holy Ghost or something.
Well, put a pin in that. Go ahead.
And begins to, well, he doesn't begin. He disrobes.
Yes, he does.
In the church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it is an uncomfortable moment for the hilarious 5 congregants of this church.
Put a pin in that.
But it's an uncomfortable moment for a host of the Michaud Mission as well. Because I'm like, oh.
Look. Look.
This is not the Sterling K Brown that I was advertised.
I think you can shred cheese.
Dude.
Yeah. On his
I did not
abs.
know there was such a thing as a 12-pack.
Yeah, look.
This dude was
Look.
And he obviously was like, in case you missed that scene.
Well, I think, yeah. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me shoot some basketballs.
I will point out when he yells down to his mother-in-law, y'all eating biscuits? I was like, you don't eat.
You ain't ate no biscuit,
you don't
brother.
Eat biscuits. But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm glad you talked about the basketball. Put a pin in. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was feeling a little uncomfortable, but yes, he is having a ball in this movie. He's having a great time. His performance is on point, and he is, without putting names to it, he is every one of those pastors.
Yeah, look,
every single one, and I know because I used to go to one of those churches, and I used to see one of, and I used to have one of those pastors.
Okay.
Oh, people don't know what church.
All right, easy.
But yeah, and he was a $3 version of these pastors.
Sure.
But he was trying to be one of these pastors.
Yeah.
And he spot on. And from the look, from the whole, you know, prosperity, you know, religion or whatever, to the self-loathing. It is all that, and it's all 100% there. Confidence, great. Nicole Bahari, look, I will sign up for her for anything.
Yeah.
Somebody give this woman a series.
Yeah, well, she had a series and they took it from her.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know. And I wasn't mad because they put her in bad wigs.
Yeah.
But somebody sign up for a movie series. Like I would love to see like Heaven Home. Make this a series.
Yeah.
Like I'm with Nicole Bahari. So the performances are great. What takes me out of the movie, you talk about that sex scene. The idea of this movie being a mockumentary, right? And the movie is definitely trying to have his cake and eat it too, because it's a mockumentary, but yes, you're also catching them in quote unquote real life as well.
Right.
You know, when the cameras are off, you're supposed to, right? The problem with that conceit is that, one, the conceit is gone for long pieces of the movie. There are long stretches of the film where the cameras and the thing is that they tell you that the cameras are supposed to be like a fly on the wall. Well, there are moments where there are no flies on the wall. The camera is not there at all. And the camera should be there. There are scenes where it's supposed to be there. If that's what the conceit is, there's no reason for it not to be. There's a scene where he is giving, because the whole idea is that he's going to be opening up this church and reopening up this church in like about 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a practice sermon inside the church with just Trinity as taking it in. Why aren't the cameras there?
Right.
The cameras aren't there. There's absolutely no reason for the cameras not to be there. And then the film, like I said, tried to have its cake and eat it too. There's moments where it flips from the camera's viewpoint to we're supposed to be like real life. And a lot of those moments happen within a scene. Okay, fine. If, like you said, the actual film stock changes, the aperture changes, meaning that the black bars move from being on the side to being top to bottom.
Right.
But the film stock doesn't really change. If it does, it's extremely slight.
And that's very subtle.
And
what you just said.
Subtle.
Yeah.
But even more to the point, the worst part of it is that, yeah, sometimes the aperture change, but the angle of the camera doesn't change.
Right. I was going to say it's not consistent.
Yeah. And that is inconsistent, especially because there are moments where if the camera changes, it's so much strong. It would enhance the scene.
Yeah.
There's a moment where they are, rallying for people to come to their church on the sidewalk before the miming.
Mm-hmm.
And she's out there with the sign, honk for Jesus, honk for Jesus. And there's a moment where she notices that across the street, there's a young girl that is just videotaping her.
Mm-hmm.
And the young girl's not doing anything. She's not saying anything to her. All she's doing is standing there, and she is videotaping her. And we see her like looking at the girl. But we also see standing behind her is the camera.
Right.
And we never see that scene from the camera's point of view.
Exactly.
And it absolutely makes no sense that we're not, because it actually is a more powerful scene if the camera is, as the fly on the wall, is taking that in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then there's another scene where she runs up against somebody somebody comes walking by her, and they get into a screaming, cursing argument, and the camera technically is all up in there.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense that you wouldn't have cut away from that. It's just so many moments where, again, like you said, a more sure hand, a more experienced hand, playing at this really makes a little bit more better storytelling choices.
Yeah.
With that. And I have to be honest, and I haven't watched this film 3 times. I've watched it twice. Every time I watched it, those choices took me out of the movie. They because I wanted to buy into the not so much the mockumentary of it. I just wanted to buy into the fly on the wall.
Right.
Because the mocking nature of it, as the film moves along and becomes a little bit more, the tone of the film becomes a little bit more serious. As the scandal is played out, as you begin to see the cracks becoming more and more visible in Trinity's character. These cracks that are symbolized by a tambourine that you hear, that is increasingly becoming more and more cognizant in some of these scenes, which is the sound cue, which is an interesting sound cue, is a fun sound cue. I see what they're trying to do with it, but I also think it's just another idea too much that you don't necessarily need.
Well, I think this is a film that was more interested in the story than the craft itself.
Fair enough.
Where where basically everything that we said about whether we're talking about the camera angles, whether they're talking about the division between the mockumentary and the film, even the tambourine, which we've had a tambourine conversation for a week, because I think I think it's there figuring out the significance of the tambourine. But I think we are careful viewers. And as careful viewers, I think we had to work too hard to pull out the tambourine, for instance. I think you just said it, and this speaks to tone. I think it's a really small needle to thread dealing with some of the aspects of this church culture. I think it starts out with him in the suits and as we mentioned, the peacocking, and it's almost like it's played for laughs. But as you said, this is not that far off at all from reality.
Yeah.
Gospel mime is an actual thing, so that you have to. I think you really need to. You almost need to have an outline of how I'm going to approach this. Like, am I going to approach this as what I would argue it needed, a lighter touch, and you just kind of touch on it, or am I going full Righteous Gemstones?
Okay.
Where it's just a farce. Like, there's a moment where Lee Childs basically blesses a young girl. And then it cuts to her saying, "I love the theater." And I thought that's too much. Like, you can't, like, either you're going to mock it, and if you're going to mock it, again, go full Righteous Gemstones, and we're going to mock it. Or it's going to be a lighter touch, and you're going to critique. But you don't need things like, "Oh, I sure do love the theater," and one of the 5 remaining parishioners talks about at her old church, somebody was involved with orgies where they had them crawling around on their legs, on their hands and knees like a horse.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have it both ways. Now, and let me just say this. I do think there are subtle moments or subtle touches that work. You mentioned Lee Curtis and Sterling K Brown's body, but I think that is part of his shtick.
Oh,
like, certainly. I think that's what he does.
Certainly, yeah.
And speaking to that moment where he blesses the little girl, it made me uncomfortable, him that close to her. You see him touch people twice that aren't Trinity. He touches a little girl where he kind of blesses her, kind of gives her the spirit, puts the spirit.
You mean like
reaches out and touches her. And then he touches the sound man.
Yeah,
where he reaches out and touching the sound man, he touches his face and talks about he has so much scruff on his face.
Talks about how you can moisturize, right?
But to me, it's the same. Those movements come from the same place. Like, this is a predator. Like, I almost wish this character wasn't a closeted homosexual. Like, I almost wish
he's just a straight predator.
He's just a predator. And, again, not to speak to like everybody listening to this has Google. It doesn't take much. Like, if 5 big preachers, 2 or 3 of them have had issues with younger women. Legally they were women. Sometimes they weren't legally women. So that I like the way that this character used his body as part of his sort of weaponry, if you will.
Aaron Fry actually pointed out, Alana or Elena, or Alana. I've been told I've been saying her name incorrectly.
Okay.
So I apologize. Mentioned that Regina King mentioned in an interview that she had her whole boob out and nobody noticed
I saw that interview
because everybody was staring at Sterling.
Everybody staring at Sterling.
I gotta be honest, I never noticed.
Yeah. Oh no, they didn't make it to the final cut.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, she said, but like no one caught it until the end.
Oh.
there are two scenes that I really have to celebrate the script, and it's the script or the performance, and of course both of them are with Regina Hall. Regina Hall and Sister Danetta at the mall.
Yeah, at the mall. Yeah.
And the passive aggression, almost aggressive aggression between these two church women.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
glorious.
That was gold.
Also glorious is the scene where the Childs go and ask the Sumners to change the date of their opening.
Again, another scene. Where are the cameras?
Where are the cameras? Look, I got to tell you, I ain't really care about the cameras, because watching Nicole Bahari and Regina Hall work was I look, they could have had the camera in the back somewhere and just played the audio. I loved that script so much in that moment. And again, I think there are parts of this film that I adored, but as I can't argue against the film as a film and the shortcomings, if you will.
Yeah, like one of the things that really bothered me, is a storytelling thing. You talked about the mall scene, and definitely the scene with Sister Danetta is great. I love it. But you talked about the scene where she sees the boys there, right?
The young men.
The young men. Yes, because the film, makes a point that his relationships have been with young men,
right?
And that there is an argument whether or not how consensual it is. Definitely predatory.
Well, I did not break the law.
Yeah, like he says. Yeah, I'm not a crook.
People look, man. Everybody listening to this knows of some kind of scandal. Like, this is the language a lot of these dudes use.
Well, of course.
He was 18, she was 19.
Yeah.
These were grown people.
Yeah.
I love the fact the first thing he says to the sound man, how old do you have to be to get a gig like this? 19?
Yeah, because he's
20?
He's just checking.
Right.
He's checking the stats. But that scene where she sees the young men.
The young men
in the mall. And then they're staring at them. You're led to believe, or at least I am. You're led to believe because there seems to be like there are more than one circumstance that they've had to deal with.
Right. There are 5 people that they have to pay off, and by the end 4 have taken the payoff.
Right. You're led to believe that one of the young men is one of the young men.
Sure.
But you're never told that.
No, you're not.
You're not. At the end of the film, one of the young men, who we learn is the young man that did not take the deal.
Exactly.
Shows up on the street corner where she's doing the miming.
Yeah.
To confront the Childs, and specifically Pastor Lee. This is our first time seeing this guy. And while I think it quickly becomes apparent who he is, and then his name is dropped, so we realize he's the guy that didn't take the deal and all this other type of stuff, it then calls into question, well, what was the scene before where she's just looking at young men?
Right.
Because it certainly is not the first time she's seen young men.
Right.
So, and at the moment that she sees the young men, she says, in her happy place. She's shopping for church hats.
She's
found a church hat that she likes, which I actually thought she looked great on her as a crown, even though the lead felt different.
It's Regina Hall.
Well, that's true. Point taken. But she's in her happy place. So while I understand maybe seeing some, like you said, if you see a young man in your rear view and maybe it brings to mind everything,
Right.
and it cuts,
Right.
then you're left with, okay, maybe that just reminds you of like, oh, what you're dealing with.
Right. It's vague.
And it's vague.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Right. You can fill it in as the viewer.
But because she then sits there
Mm-hmm.
and is staring at them.
Right. Right. And the film leads you to believe that these are important figures.
Yes. And there's no payoff of
Right.
it. That, again, to me, that's where it's just trying to do too much.
I agree.
And it really bothered, and thus it took me out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just took me out of, like, again, there's a scene talking about when they are talking to their lawyer about the settlements, and the child say, you know, hey, to the documentarians, can y'all step out because we got to take this call. They step out. Eventually they take the call. You don't see them taking the call, but you hear the call from their point of view.
Right.
Which leads you to believe that the documentarians, if nothing else, had a mic up to the door.
I was about to say, left a mic in there or led it up to the door. Right.
Right. And you figure it must be through the door because there definitely is a muffle.
Yeah.
So it's not like the mic was in there because it would have been like a hot mic. But so you hear the conversations from their point of view. Okay, that's a documentarian, you know, trying to adhere to this, you know, fly on the wall type of edict that they've set down. Fair. But that's why then the cameras are so, you know, conspicuous when they're not in other scenes.
It is not consistent,
you know, and that just kept taking me 100% out of the movie. And as much as, and because of that, while the fissures in Regina Hall's character show throughout this film, I ultimately land that I don't think it lands as hard as it wants to, because I keep losing track of it.
Oh yeah, I agree all the way up to that point. Like, I really do think. Well, like I said, you know, I think everything with the film and the consistency of the filmmaking and the storytelling itself was not enough to pull me out of not just Regina Hall, but these performances in general. Which
hold on 1 moment, because you seem to have
frozen. Okay.
In a weird position. So I'm going to
frozen in a weird position.
Remove you.
I was about to say, was I doing?
Kick you from the studio, and then I'm going to bring you back in. So we're going to pause for the cause for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, while I go fix Vincent's camera.
Oh yeah, fix my camera.
Stay tuned. You can keep talking. I think they can still hear you.
Can still hear me, so I probably shouldn't say anything crazy.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Don't say anything too crazy.
About here.
No, now we're back in. Oh, I'm entering a broadcast studio recording. Ooh, pro tip: wear earbuds if you experience audio echoes. Oh, that is a pro tip. How about that? It's like they have little tips when you read this. That's fantastic.
Now you know.
No, I know. That's true.
You know what they say about knowing.
It's half the battle. The other half is blue and red lasers. That's what I learned as a young man. And now I'm back.
Now you're back.
Yeah, I you know, I guess at this point it's just your mileage may vary. Like I very much agree with you. But it was not enough to like I really did think Sterling K Brown and Regina Hall were a wonder and a joy, that every time I thought about something like what we're talking about, you know, Regina, they were doing Nuck If You Buck, or
great scene,
or, you know, talking about the Rocky movies, or she's telling her mother just very off the cuff, oh yeah, I slipped into Ambien. No, he likes that. And just Regina Hall's everything. Like, I almost look at it at certain points as almost a one-woman show.
It is a one-woman show, because you brought up the mother, and I have to say, I was very surprised at her mother's response to her coming to her mom for a shoulder.
I was zero surprised like that. I've known many women in situations like this, and their husbands weren't multi-millionaire preachers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get the sense he was hitting her. I don't get the sense that he was cheating on her with another woman. I know a lot, and I think a lot of women would disagree with you that her mother would tell her to run to the Bible and stay with your husband, cleave to your husband. It's a lot of use of the word cleave.
Wait a minute. So
you were surprised that she went to her mother and her mother said,
stay
and pray on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that at all.
Really?
That was the least surprising part of you know what the most surprising part of this film was?
What?
The fact that they said that everybody left the church and it was only 5 members.
Well, yeah, that makes no sense.
That makes zero sense. And again, not to pull in real world situations similar to this, but there's not a real world scandal that has happened in the mega church, black or white, in the past 20 years that everybody left.
It got down to 5 kind of.
Right. Yeah. Like they had 25,000 members. And this was with men. Like the scandal was with men. I'm gonna give you 15,000. Like I'm feeling generous of
15,000
your 15,000 left. Like you had 25,000. There's a scandal with you and some young men. 15,000 left, but 10,000 stayed. And I bet my left arm on that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, this notion that, oh my goodness, 24,995 people said this is too much. We are leaving. I said, nah, that's science fiction.
Very true.
But yeah, her mother telling her to stay with him, that didn't surprise me at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to just a couple of the comments before we get out of here. Elena.
I'll say pick one, stick to it.
Elena. Well, I had to check.
All right.
To make sure I wanted to choose right.
All right.
Because from what I understand, this will count against me in a court of law. Elena said, what you saw when he touched people is honestly how every girl has felt in her lifetime, as we call it, creepy old man.
Yeah, I hear you, but I feel like there are a lot of, I'll say men in authority.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say clergy. Like I'll even take it out of religion. I think there are a lot of men in authority that bypass boundaries because they are in authority. And certainly once you bring God into it, like I'm a man in authority and I've been authorized by God. I think that happens. And I thought the film talking about something it did right, I thought it captured that. Like even him stripping down like that, where you got the sense he and Trinity had talked about, he was going to get rebaptized. But you see on her face when she opens her eyes, I don't think anyone planned for him to be in his underwear.
No,
like that up front.
Yeah.
That's who Lee Curtis is.
Yeah. Camellia says that it's not surprising because in regards to the mother, because the mother never left her husband.
Yeah.
And feels if she suffered, then her daughter can suffer too. That's true. That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Well, she actually said when she stopped running to the Bible, and she said when he was in the grave.
I know.
Which I connect to. Trinity said, nah, kill him before I leave him. And then her eyes start flashing. And then it cuts to Sterling Lee Brown. And for a second, I think he realizes what actually is happening. Like what are the implications of what she's saying? And then he's right back to Lee Curtis.
Yeah, but she puts him in his place like at the end of the film.
Oh yeah,
when he tries to come at her hat again.
I think he's still delusional though. Like the last thing he says, oh, they come to see Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
They coming to see me.
Toya Haynes.
Hey, Toya.
Our lovely social media director said that he also touched the
He
inmate
sure did.
that spoke to him outside. I was not sure where that was going. I was going to say that, but their touching was an embrace, even though it was a long embrace.
And I think Toya's right. Like, you didn't know what is happening here.
Toya says it was a long embrace.
You can watch this movie and chart Lee Curtis touching people besides his wife.
Yeah, very true.
Like, his wife, he has the least intimacy with in their touch.
Yeah. So would you recommend that people see Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul?
I absolutely would. Again, I think Nicole Beharie, it was such a treat to see her. I didn't know she was in it.
Me neither.
I didn't know she was going to be in it. And then when she was in it, like I said, she didn't just show up to grab a check. Nicole Beharie is great. Sterling K Brown is fantastic. Again, if all you know of Sterling K Brown is as a very serious actor, this is a different Sterling K Brown for a lot of this. And yeah, Regina Hall is everything. Regina Hall is everything in this film, from the banter about Rocky, and Rocky didn't win, to her looking out and being distracted regardless of how far the scene goes when she sees the boys, to Nuck If You Buck. I love her little stumble run out of the room to turn the fountain on.
Yeah.
The gospel mime is everything is in there. I actually like the aggression she has when Lee Curtis is doing the practice sermon.
See, that's another reason why aren't the cameras there?
Well, like I said, I ain't even give a damn about the cameras, because her saying, when she said, "Oh, are you finished?" I said, "Oh, somebody got it's a little steel in her spine with that." To again, I think just for Regina Hall, you absolutely should see this. But there is more than Regina Hall.
There is more than Regina Hall, but this might be honestly, and it remains to be seen. This may be My Cousin Vinny all over again. Fun movie, good enough a movie, yet there's a performance in there that, believe it or not, won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not I could say this movie is one of the best movies of the year, but I'm hard pressed to think of a better performance than hers.
I'm frustrated because I know the eyes that give out those kind of awards,
they're not going to see.
They are not going to watch this.
No, they're not. They're not going to give this their serious consideration.
Yeah,
she is phenomenal.
And as much as, and I'll say me, I won't put your name in this. As much as I champion this film, and I think there are lots of voices championing this film, I think there are a lot of voices, Black voices, speaking against this film.
You know what?
So that I think a year from now, unfortunately, this film's going to get lost.
Maybe. First of all, I would recommend that people see this film.
Sure.
I would. For the conversation, like you said, that to be fair, we didn't even really engage in because we didn't want to go there.
Right. We're film
we're
podcast.
Film
yeah.
We're focusing on the film. But I think those conversations are rife for discussion. But just as a movie, I think it's uneven, but the performances, I can't knock it. And for the questions that it does bring up, hey, that's what movies are supposed to do.
Sure.
So while it's an uneven debut from the Evo sisters, I champion them and I eagerly await their next venture. Adama is the director, and I think Adana is the producer.
Hey, look, you said it real off the cuff a few minutes ago. A spin-off / sequel about Confidence and Nicole Bahari characters' church.
So I was being facetious. We don't need a sequel. We don't need them. We don't need to see them again.
I could very much watch,
like in the series,
or just watch them develop. Something I caught today, and I don't want to go too far in the weeds. So the Curtises plan on opening on Easter, but then come to find out that the Sumners are opening the same day.
Yes,
and the Curtises are concerned that the Sumners, because they're the new hotshot preachers, and they are concerned that they're going to steal their thunder. So they go and they have a confrontation. The Sumners, of course, say, we're not going to change our date. So then the Curtises change their date and open a week earlier.
Right.
But come to find out, by the end, the Sumners have also changed their date to it. So they do end up opening on the same date. And my initial read of it was that the Sumners caught wind that the Curtises were going to open, and they deliberately opened on the same day to take their shine. Today when I watched it, and I don't know if Confidence is a good enough actor to convey what I picked up, and maybe I'm just team Nicole Bahari. I got the sense that Nicole Bahari's character knew that the Curtises were opening, and she put it into her husband's head, because there's a look on his face where he says, I didn't know they were opening today, where I was like, did he not know for real? And then she absolutely knew. So again, I might be putting too much on it. But I love the push and pull. I love the push and pull between those two characters, where now she's a co-pastor, but she's still a woman.
That's interesting, because I had the exact same read.
Did you?
I had the exact same read, and I got it from the first time I saw it.
I'm so busy staring at Nicole Bahari, I didn't even see it.
I got the exact same read, that she knew, but she didn't tell him.
She didn't tell him.
So she talked him into, you know what? Let's give them their day.
That's what I got this afternoon.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see more of that dynamic?
Sure, but I'd be fine with not exploring it. I just like that little. I like that little bit. I'm good.
All right,
I'm good.
But yes, I'm also looking forward to the Ebo sisters adding their voice to the chorus.
Yes. All right. Before we get out of here, real quick. All right, because I promised it, and I worked on it, and I made graphics, so we're doing it. So top 5. Now I saw somebody saying that they don't like top 5s.
Who said that?
There was somebody in the chat.
My goodness.
And I actually think that it may have been. I don't want to put it.
Don't you got to put? My goodness.
Well, no, because now you asked me, so and I want.
I actually didn't ask. Did I?
You said who said that?
No, spit my water.
It was
out.
Elena.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Maybe mad because I got a name wrong the other.
There
week.
you go.
She said that I never liked top 5 anything. There's too many genres, actors, actresses, and generations. Not fair to any one movie. All right, well, then turn off your computer, Elena.
Good night, Elena. We'll see you when it's time to meet again.
Because it's time for the top 5.
Who's your top 5? My top 5 is.
All right, tonight's top 5, Vincent, and this is just for you.
Just for me.
Just for you. Because we reviewed Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul.
We did.
At your shouted request.
I did.
So, in order of what I think you would choose.
Okay.
These are the top 5
in
ascending order soul movies that we haven't reviewed.
Okay.
So starting from the one one you would least want to review.
To the one I want to review the most.
Right.
All right.
All right. These are soul movies.
All right. Soul movies.
Vincent doesn't. Can't wait to review. Number 5.
Number 5.
Soul Men with the late Bernie Mac and Samuel L. Jackson and the late Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, it's actually been shortlisted
from 2008.
Yeah, we've talked about reviewing that a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Looking forward to that conversation.
You are.
It's a dumb movie.
I know.
Yeah, it's dumb.
No, it looks dumb.
Yeah, all right.
It looks dumb. I think they're like old singers.
They are.
Get back together.
That is the entire plot.
That's the entire problem.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4. Soul movies.
Soul to Soul from 1971.
I have no idea what this is.
I didn't think that you would, Vincent, but this is a movie that I know that you would want to review. Soul to Soul from 1971.
Tina Turner?
No, it is a documentary.
Okay.
About the Independence Day concert in Ghana in 1971.
Nice.
It features an array of American R&B, soul, rock, and jazz musicians.
Nice. Are you sure that's not Tina Turner?
Including Wilson Pickett, James Brown, Booker T and the MJs, Louis Armstrong, Marion Williams, and those were the ones that they couldn't get. I apologize.
Do you love Wilson Pickett? Well, he's not here.
But James Brown did perform. Ike and Tina Turner.
I was say that's clearly Tina Turner.
The Staple Singers.
Why are you gaslighting me like I'm making me think I'm crazy?
Santana.
Oh, nice.
Roberta Flack.
Well, that's a nice lineup.
The nice lineup, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I know that is a film that you would want to review.
Absolutely.
All right. So Soul to Soul from 1971.
Yes, and I'd want to review that more than Soul Men. So far, so good.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3.
Thunder Soul.
I love Thunder Soul.
From 2010. Now, for those that don't know what Thunder Soul is, Thunder Soul is another documentary.
Yes, sir.
With featuring narration by Jamie Foxx,
who also produced it.
The synopsis of the film: a former Kashmir high school graduate returns home after 35 years to play a tribute concert for his beloved band leader, who during the 70s turned the struggling jazz band into a world-class funk powerhouse.
Yes, sir. Did you see?
No,
Thunder Soul?
I was not aware of this.
Thunder Soul is amazing.
I'm not aware of this.
And everyone who's listening to me, if you haven't seen it, A, see it. B, download the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Thunder Soul is that work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
All right. So I know
so far I can't wait to see, because you killing it right now.
All right. Now.
All right.
There are only 2 soul movies that you would want to review more than Thunder Soul, Soul to Soul, and Soul Men.
Right. I know it's not Soul Plane because we actually reviewed that.
Yeah, I already reviewed that.
All right. So it's not hanging over my head.
But number 2 is Body and Soul from 1981. Starring 70s power couple Leon Isaac and Jane Kennedy. Now, this film, which is a remake of a 1947 film of the same name, features Leon Isaac Kennedy as, wait for it, a boxer.
Wait, isn't that Penitentiary? Shut up.
Who plans to study medicine.
He's going to be a medicinician.
But because his ailing sister is in need of costly care, he decides to earn a living in the ring.
As one does.
His rise is rapid, but his newly extravagant lifestyle threatens his relationship with his girlfriend, Julie, played by Jane Kennedy.
That's right. Have you ever seen Body and Soul?
I'm pretty sure I did see it back in its day.
It is terrible.
It is very terrible. A And yet, it is a film that I know you can't wait to review.
We're going to have a ball with it. We're going to have a ball with Body and Soul. Body and Soul is terrible. Oh, all right. I cannot wait to see what is.
There's only one soul
There's
movie
only one soul movie.
that you, Vincent,
Me.
I guarantee.
You guarantee you're gonna have to come strong
You're going.
because you 4 for 4 right
There's
now.
nothing stronger than the soul of Nigger Charlie from 1973.
Yeah, it's not a bad film either.
And blaxploitation
Yeah.
Western
Oh yeah.
starring Fred Williamson, the sequel.
I was about to say this is the second one.
to the legendary Legend of Nigger Charlie.
That's right.
And also, it is followed by Boss Nigger.
Yes.
The Soul of Nigger Charlie continues the story of escaped slave Charlie and fellow ex-slave Toby, played by, wait for
I
it,
was about to say
Derville Martin.
Derville Martin's in this. Yeah.
This time, the two friends help a group of ex-slaves earn freedom as they combat a ruthless ex-Civil War officer who wants to keep slavery alive by selling blacks to Southern plantation owners in Mexico.
This is not a bad list.
There you go.
This is not a bad list at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the only.
Who was number 5?
Number 5 was Soul Men.
Soulmate, right.
And
Yeah.
then followed by Soul to
Yes.
Soul to Soul,
Soul to Soul and Thunder Soul.
Thunder Soul,
Yeah.
Body and Soul,
Yeah.
and the Soul of
This is
Nigger
not a
Charlie.
bad list.
Yes. Did I get the order right?
You got the order right.
See,
You absolutely
I
got
know
the,
my Vincent.
Yeah, you got the order right.
I know my
Yeah.
Vincent. All right. So
There you go.
That is our top 5. Oh my God. That was so much fun. All right. Next week, here on the Michaud Mission, ladies and gentlemen, it is my turn
It is your turn.
to select the movie, and I have selected I think what is a very good film for us to
spoiler.
review. In the month of September, we're dealing with child stars
Okay.
who kind of grew up to become more.
Okay.
Thus, we did Good Burger with Kenan Thompson.
Okay.
And now we will review from 2007. I believe this film was from 2007. That is correct.
Sounds about right.
It is Aquila and the Bee, 2006.
Fantastic choice.
With Keke Palmer
Yes, sir.
in the lead role. The movie that made her a
Introducing
star.
Keke Palmer?
Well, it's the movie that made her a star. If it
Yeah.
didn't introduce her. It
Mhm.
didn't introduce to. It's the one, that everyone kneels at.
Yeah.
So Aquila and the Bee
Aquila
next
and the Bee.
week here on the Michaud Mission. Until then, we got a whole bunch of business we got to do. Feel free to email us all of your thoughts and concerns to the Michaud Mission at MichaudMission@gmail.com. Follow the Michaud Mission on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Michaud Mission. Subscribe to the Michaud Mission on YouTube, youtube.com/Michaud Mission. And wherever you check out our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and a review, especially if it's on Spotify or Apple, because that helps people find our show. The Michaud Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. All right. And I don't know if you knew that Sanaa Lathan is the Catwoman that I didn't know I needed. Check her out as the voice of Catwoman on Harley Quinn on HBO Max.
She's very good.
She's very, very good.
Yeah.
All right. Until next week, he's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time.